Am I the asshole? For yelling at my Mill and causing her to cry when she was trying to protect my kids? What do you guys think? Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Not sure what protection she was offering. I would have physically moved her out of my way, so she's lucky all you did was yell. Considering you left the kids with her, is she implying it was irresponsible to trust her with their care? Info: what did she think she was protecting your kids from? She was watching them while you went to the wedding, so I'd assume she'd know it was a couple hours away. She wasn't trying to protect your kids, she was actively preventing you from seeing them. I'd be tempted to go low contact because of this. She wouldn't let you see your kids, so now she doesn't get to see her grandkids. She's lucky you didn't call security or go full mama bear. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Protecting them from what? Mill was being difficult and literally gatekeeping your own children. And I bet my hat that she told her side of the family, her version, and omitted many details to paint you as the villain. Protect your kids from what? Seeing their parents? This is a ridiculous scenario. I'm guessing your Mill often acts erratically or treats you badly. Not the asshole. There's nothing irresponsible about leaving 2 teenagers and a 7-year-old with their grandmother for the day. This makes absolutely no sense. Info: why did your son call, and not Mill? Why didn't your Mill know it would take you 2 hours to get home? Why the hell did she block the door? Is your son okay? Not the asshole. Whoever tries to block a mama bear from an injured cub has to be ready to be mauled. What did she think she was protecting the children from? Not the asshole. I'd have done worse than yell at someone physically blocking me from my injured ill son. If I am reading this correctly, your Mill didn't even call you? Your other son did? Was he told to call while Mill handled everything else? And what were the nurses up to during the altercation? I hope your son is okay. Not the asshole. How was she protecting your child that he ended up in the hospital? First off, I am not a parent, but even I can see that you don't gatekeep a child from their actual parents. Second, did she not listen as to how far you had to drive to get to the wedding in the first place? Also, what kind of BS is it to say that you don't care about your child because it took you time to drive back? This isn't the 24th century and we can beam places and back in the blink of an eye. Not the asshole. I would have gotten physical. Not the asshole. She wasn't trying to protect your kids, you weren't a danger to them. She was being a self-righteous asshole to 2 terrified parents who got to the hospital as fast as they safely could. Not the asshole. But I need to give credit to your Mill. Getting between a concerned mother and her kid in a hospital displays a lot of guts. Or stupidity. As the case may be. X200B. Edito. And because I'm reading all the replies here about your age, kudos for raising 3 children in what must not have been easy circumstances. Not the asshole. You are responsible for your children and your kids trust you most. Her getting in the way was interfering and could have caused further distress. You informed them and got back ASAP, so you are an excellent mom. Don't let them tell you otherwise. Not the asshole. Looks like Mill is not a responsible person to leave your children with. She didn't contact you herself, the entire time this was happening? And tried to prevent you from going into the hospital room? No. Not the asshole. You're a better woman than I am because I would have just pushed her before she could even finish her first sentence. Don't waste a mama's time when her kid's in need. Not the asshole. You did everything possible to get to your child. Your Mill didn't even contact you herself if I'm reading this correctly. Not the asshole. Why did your son call you and not your Mill? There's something more going on here. Either way, Mill was being completely irrational and had no right blocking access to your son. Had the hospital been concerned about your kid's care, they would have called the authorities. Note: this was not the time for her to get on her high horse. You needed to see your son and make sure all was okay. Not the asshole. She was the trusted guardian of them. Did she even contact you? Flushed face. I'd love to know her logic of protecting the kids from you though. Because WTF. In an emergency your kid will clearly want you there. Not the asshole. What was she protecting your kids from exactly? They were already in the hospital and receiving whatever care was necessary. It doesn't sound like there was anything to protect them from. If she was just mad that you didn't get there sooner, then tell her to work on inventing a teleportation device instead of wasting time keeping you from your children. Not the asshole. Anybody blocking my path to my child's hospital room would be lucky that all I did was yell. She had to know that you were 2 hours away, so what did she think you should do? Sprout wings and fly? And I see all the comments regarding your age when you had your first 2 kids and fail to see how that is relevant. You're not 14 now and you did what plenty of parents do. You left your kids with, I assume, a responsible adult while you attended a wedding. You weren't out making a drug deal. Not the asshole. She's in the wrong. She wasn't protecting your children, she was trying to prevent you from getting to them. I'm concerned why she thought this was okay behavior, and if there's something more sinister hidden beneath this. Hope everyone is okay. If it's not too personal, is your son okay? Not the asshole. She is honestly lucky that she was bulldozed over after the first time you told her to move. I would strongly reconsider how much you allow her to interact with your kids. Next time, will she schedule a CPS visit to take them to? I did see in another comment that you had a rocky youth, which is largely irrelevant. I would be concerned with what else she is saying and who she is saying it to. That was some psycho grandma stuff right there. Not the asshole. So her argument was that she was protecting the kids by preventing their parents from accessing their hospital room. To protect them from you? Or to isolate them from you so that you don't find out what happened while they were in her care? Frankly, her behavior during an emergency to isolate and try to limit the parents' access to the children is disturbing and completely out of line. I would never have her look after your kids again if that is how she reacts. You're TGE parents with legal rights, not her. Does the family understand the person she was trying to protect your son from was you and your husband? Not the asshole. I'd have yelled at her, "Get the fuck out of my way." But I might be an R2. Not the asshole. And she's lucky that Mama Bear just roared rather than knocking the head off the woman standing between Mama Bear and her cub. Not the asshole. She blocked your child's hospital room? No more unattended visits with her. Not the asshole. She was babysitting so she knew where you were. And didn't bother to call you. Even if she had asked your eldest to call, she should have kept you updated once at the hospital. And it sounds like she didn't. Not the asshole. I too would like to know precisely what she was protecting your kids from. Not the asshole. It's likely that the rest of your husband's family didn't hear the true story. They heard the victim's sob story of how badly she was hurt by the incident. I might have misunderstood. 28 and 29-year-old of 15-year-old? Not trying to be rude. Not the asshole. You were in the right and she should never be left alone with your children ever again, as well as a long period of no contact. Personally, I would have physically moved her from in front of the door, which is something your husband should have done anyway. Not the asshole. Yay, keep me from my kid that is in the hospital, and it would not be verbal, it would be physical. This is ridiculous. First, I hope your son is okay. You not the asshole mill total are. What kind of power trip was you mill on when not letting you into your own son's room? The event happened on her watch and she didn't call you, your son did. And it sounds like she did call you with updates during your 2-hour drive to get there. Lastly, you have every right to go to a wedding 2 hours away and leave your kids with caregivers. Don't blame or beat yourself up. Not the asshole. WTF did she expect you to do to get there quicker? Timed machine? Teleport? Drive 100 and potentially kill yourselves? Does family know the real story? Or just Hermie-centric version? Not the asshole. Fuck her, you're his mum.